What's up, everybody? It's Joey G here on this Thursday afternoon. What's going on, everybody? Talk about SmackDown tonight in a minute, but I want to defend Vince Russo on some comments he made. And I'm a Vince Russo guy. And this is about Sami Zayn, everybody's new favorite internet sensation. He's Daniel Bryan 2.0. He's a mid-carder for life. And let me understand, Vince Russo got all these death threats and doesn't know the business, and everybody, Kevin Nash said the same thing about Sami Zayn. And it's like this, okay? Sami Zayn is a great wrestler. He's a great wrestler. But what's his draw? What's gonna make me go buy a ticket to Wells Fargo, buy a ticket at the Garden, buy a ticket at the Prudential Center, buy a ticket at the Baltimore Arena? You know what I mean? What's going to make me buy a ticket to go see Sami Zayn? What is it? What does he do? They cheer some stupid-ass song when he comes out. He wears a Jeff hat. He looks like, he is Irish. You know what I mean? He just looks like a dude straight from Ireland. Now with the Kevin Owens, that's completely different. Kevin Owens, I disagree with Vince Russo. But that's the beauty of having passion and love for wrestling, for pro wrestling. Kevin Owens is the man. People say he's overrated. Whatever. Sami Zayn's overrated, okay? Kevin Owens is far more... Wrestling is entertainment. Along with you have to learn to work. Sami Zayn is not a great worker. He's not. He could put on a great wrestling match, him and Kevin Owens, but he's not a great worker. He's somewhat over, but, you got to put some, not some cheesy, hokey gimmick on them, but you just got Sami Zayn. It's just Sami Zayn. No backstory, no nothing. No creativity, not great on the mic, and that's what counts in today. You know what I mean? As much as I do not really, I respect Daniel Bryan as a person, you know what I mean? But wrestling, when I was growing up, wrestling was meant to be bigger than life, okay? And I understand, as the years went on, Bret Hart, Shawn, they're my two favorite wrestlers, but I love Hogan too, and Macho, But wrestling is to be, you look at Sami Zayn and you say, am I going to pay, what's the big thing with him? And then you're going to, you got guys that are around his size, maybe a little bigger, a little smaller. But I'll give you a comparison. Sami, the reason Val Venus got over, he was over because of his vignettes. Before he even came out, he had a month full of vignettes in that 98. When he came out, he was over. He was the 90s, he was the late 90s Rick Rude. He was over. Hello, ladies. That's all he had to say. You had every female in that crowd loving him. Nipples hard and all, loving him. Goldust, another dude, was Dustin Rhodes. Lame Dustin Rhodes in WCW. When he got to WWE, he had the month and month. And even though he played a weirdo and he looked like he was playing a queer, he was over. He was interesting. It was something that was never done in wrestling before. That was the first sign of the... Another one of Kevin Nash's ideas that he pitched to Vince McMahon and Vince Russo. That was the Vince Russo, Kevin Nash thing with Goldust. Fact. Okay? Sami Zayn, you just throw him out there. You just, Kevin Owens has kind of got the con man attitude. You know what I mean? He's got kind of like that stick to him. You got to have like a character to you a little bit. It's the same thing like when Kevin Nash made that statement years ago, vanilla midgets. He was kind of right. You know what I mean? Okay, another instance, Dean Malenko, great wrestler. He even had a shirt in WCW. Great wrestler, Dean Malenko. You know what I mean? And I hear, I've heard him on interviews, he can talk on the mic. He has dry humor. He's pretty funny. But creative never did not want him in WCW. Creative never did not want him in WWE. Now he's just an agent working backstage. And if you saw Dean Malenko on the streets, yeah, people would recognize him. But he wouldn't have this big crowd around him or anything. And not that that's the key to life or anything. But I'm just saying, you got these smaller guys and think that they're like, Daniel Bryan really just got me mad. I thought, with Batista tapping to him, and WrestleMania 30 was great, by the way. You know what I mean? Over 2 years ago. But when Daniel Bryan made big-ass Dave Batista tap, I think in my mind, I mean, that was a good WrestleMania, and I was happy Daniel Bryan won. You know, you knew he was going to win after Brock Lesnar broke the Taker streak. You know what I mean? You knew he was going to win. You know, there's no way Randy Orton was walking out of that Superdome with the title or Batista. You know what I mean? But that killed Batista's career, and I think that killed a lot of wrestling too, because you have little ass Daniel Bryan making big ass Dave Batista, who was 7 years before that was almost like mostly big part of the company, almost the face of the company, and you got him tapping. You can't buy that. You know what I mean? Daniel Bryan, like, come on. Like, it's like, I was at the Royal Rumble, as I said before, in 2015, when Roman won it, and everybody wanted Daniel Bryan. I didn't. When he got pushed out, I cheered him. But if you're rebooking that, they should never even put Daniel Bryan in that Royal Rumble. They should have had him in a match. They should have never put him in it. That's another story. This is about, you know, these guys coming in. There's like, you got big guys coming in. Colin Cassidy, Baron Corbin. Roman Reigns is the champion. He's big. I'm not a big Roman Reigns fan, but you can do something with Roman. And they're going to. Trust me. This weekend at Extreme Rules, that Roman Empire will finally be built in full. This Sunday at Extreme Rules. Book it. It's just that these wrestlers, like Neville, he's another one. Him and Sami Zayn, you could actually put a tag team together. Here's a pitch, seriously. I mean, because they're good wrestlers and they can make it work. And make them heels because they had no personality. They have none. Bo Dallas. There's another thing that WWE dropped the ball on. Bo Dallas. And I'm going to go back a little ways to 2014 again. If anybody remembers when Stephanie McMahon got arrested by the police that time, when Brie Bella had her arrested. And Bo Dallas was over. He was over. He was like this era's Kurt Angle in a little different way. But Bo Dallas was over. He was over. Now you got him with the social outcast and he's a friggin' idiot. He was over. Bo, leave! Anyway, when Stephanie McMahon got arrested that one time, and she was in the back of that cop car and she was crying. Great thing that would have been done. Because at that time, you know, it was the summer of 2014. Bo Dallas was over. He was popular. He was one of the most popular wrestlers in the company at that time. I mean, he was in the top 5. He really was. Bo Lee was hot. You should have had Bo Dallas go up to Stephanie and be like, Stephanie, it's okay. You just got to go down to jail, do your thing, and just, Bo, leave! Bo, leave! And the people would have loved it. But WWE dropped the ball. Just like they did with Ryback. Just like they did with Wade Barrett. But they pushed Daniel Bryan to the moon because of all the whatever it is, the IWC or whatever they are, love the internet nerds, what do you call it, love Daniel Bryan. And, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has no personality. You got Sami Zayn out there with like a personality, like something. You just have nothing. There's no vignettes anymore. Like, I mean, the last vignette I can really remember being big was like Adam Rose, and he sucks. You know what I mean? Didn't something just happen with him? He had a domestic dispute. I mean, like Triple H, he was over because he had his vignettes. You know what I mean? He was over as a heel when he came out. He had the snot, you know, he'd always do them vignettes where he'd be smoking the pipe. Vignettes to get you over before you even go out. That's the problem. There is no vignettes. There is no looking into the future. They're booking, you know, the matches, you know, the night of Raw. The night, you know what I mean? The night of the house show. It's just, the wrestling business right now is just, I mean, it's not in a great place. I wish, like I said, TNW, that was the pitch I did on my show yesterday, is how to have a company to compete with Vince, or at least be number 2. Because, I mean, WWE is the, you know, is the best. I mean, that's where you want to go. But if you can't make it, you go there. Now you don't make WWE, where are you going to go? Impact? ROH? I mean, ROH is good, but it's a wrestling company. It's not really entertainment. It's in Japan, it's a wrestling company. You gotta have wrestling and entertainment. That's what draws. Even back to the NWA when it was straight wrestling. You still had storylines. You had the Horsemen. You know what I mean? You had storyline. You had Tully Blanchard with Baby Doll. You had Dusty Rhodes as the common man, way before he wore polka dots in WWF. You know what I mean? You had Magnum, you know, Magnum, you know, TA, who would just look like Magnum PI, who had that big show in the 80s. All, you know what I mean? Perception's reality. And you had a character, Nikita Koloff. You know, was this bad Russian guy, even though he was a friggin', Italian or whatever from Minnesota. Scott Simpson's his real name, Nikita Koloff. But you had you had some kind of character put on you. You know what I mean? Barry Windham was a badass redneck. You know what I mean? Like a dickhead redneck. But you had now there's just nothing. You got Kevin Owens, and I disagree. Like, I think Kevin Owens is great. He's entertaining. He's great on play-by-play. He's just in the ring. He's great. He's not overrated. He's underrated, if anything. He shouldn't be going after the IC title again. He should be going after Roman and the world title. And please, and I'll say it again, do not, WWE, and make sure every fan, every wrestling fan, you don't have to like me, do not turn Kevin Owens face, because the money in Kevin Owens is a heel. Another thing I want to bring up real quick is the beef between Vince Russo and Jim Cornette. And I like Jimmy Cornette. I don't agree with a lot of his liberal things, and I am not, because I'm a conservative. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm a conservative guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a conservative guy. I'm the most liberal conservative. Put it to you that way. I'm the most liberal conservative. But I'm not a liberal. I don't think anything should just go. You know how most of the people in this liberal world, anything can go. Pretty soon people will be fist-fucking animals. Excuse my language. You let anything go. I didn't mean to curse with that. But, I mean, that's what's going to happen. I'm a conservative dude. You know what I mean? Bottom line. And Jim Cornette, is just a guy that is just set in his old ways, set in his traditions. And if it was up to Jim Cornette, we'd be watching scaffold matches. He's so much into the Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express feuds, he's still plugging them on the internet. And they happened in 1985, 86, and they were great matches. But Jim, it's over. And he holds this resentment. And I hate it because so many people, including you, Solo Monster, you be hating on Vince Russo too. Okay? And Vince Russo... not single-handedly, but Vince Russo, Kevin Nash was the vision behind the Attitude Era. But Vince Russo was the Attitude Era. It was Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara. Jim Cornette didn't like Vince Russo simply because of one thing. Vince McMahon had to pick Jim Cornette's way or Vince Russo's way at beating WCW. He listened to Cornette, he listened to Russo. He said, Jim, you're still here, I love you, but I'm following Vince's vision. You know what I mean? Cornette's vision was if you remember 1998, the NWA invasion with the Rock and Roll Express and Jeff Jarrett bringing the NWA title, calling it the North American belt, and the Heavenly Bodies came back. That was Jim Cornette's. That was kind of like what he would have did. He would have brought back to go against WCW at that time. And if that would have happened, Ted Turner in WCW would be in business right now. And The Rock and Stone Cold and if John Cena, we don't even know John Cena would have ever been John Cena. You know what I mean? They would have all been on WCW Nitro. And who knows if wrestling would even be around right now because Ted Turner and all them douchebags, they didn't know what the hell they were doing anyway. Vince Russo at least knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? He knew what he's doing. He wrote the highest segment of Raw ever, This Is My Life. And Jim Cornette hates that. I like Jimmy Cornette. You know why I like Jimmy Cornette? Because he has the passion for the business. And I loved back in 85, 86. Like I said, I liked the NWA before I liked the WWF. But then I started realizing the WWF was more entertaining. I did like the NWA. The Four Horsemen and Ric Flair, I loved them. I loved the Horsemen. I used to walk around acting like Ric Flair all the time. But WWF was where the entertainment was. They told a story. It was good. You know what I mean? You had larger-in-life superstars. Okay, just real quick, you have Daniel Bryan walk down the airport. You're not going to have people look twice at him. You have Hulk Hogan walk down the airport. You're going to have people look maybe 10 times. You have Kevin Nash walk down the airport. You even have friggin', let me think somebody, that's not that big. Sting, everybody knows who Sting is. Bray Wyatt, people are going to look because he's husky. You know what I mean? People are going to, yeah. Daniel Bryan, Neville, Sami Zayn. You see Kevin Owens, you go, oh, that's that funny dude on Raw. He can wrestle. The dude does the cartwheel and the pop-up powerbomb. You know what I mean? And it's all about the stick. If Sami Zayn would get on the stick and start, you know what I mean, letting people know, you know what I mean? But he doesn't. He just says this nice guy that wears the Jeff hat with his beard and he's happy and all the fans are singing that corny-ass song. Sucks. Russo, Cornette, I disagree with them both, but I agree with a lot of them both. But if I had to pick a guy who I would run with to start a company with or go and take advice from, I would take it from Vince Russo. I like Cornette, but I side more with Russo. This is Joey G. I'm out. Peace.